Listen, I know you want to learn a new language, but unfortunately there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of people filling your head with false expectations, and in fact, even your own brain can sometimes sabotage. Hold on. You, of all people, you're gonna learn a language. Do you not remember Spanish class in high school? Get out of here. Whatever. That's exactly why I'm making this video. So, here's how long it actually takes, here's why, and here's how to do it. You can get to a conversationally fluent level in 6 to 12 months in just about any language. The amount of time a language will take to learn really depends on its innate difficulty. For example, easier languages to learn for English speakers like French, Spanish, Norwegian, etc., they should take roughly 6 months or so. Even for my own personal French transformation, I mean, just in case you don't believe me that it only takes 6 months, pow, right there. Check it out, maybe after this video. I recorded myself over 6 months learning French, and at the end of the 6 months, I went from not knowing anything to being able to understand TV shows and YouTube videos without subtitles and being able to express most of what I would want to say. So it definitely is possible, and inside this video is actually the same method that I used to learn French. All that said, medium difficulty languages will roughly take 9 months, at least 9 months, and harder languages will take at least 12. Now, most people seem to think that learning a language takes years and years and that you can never truly finish learning a language, and they're kind of right. So you can never truly finish a language. Even in your native language, there's always more words to learn. However, connecting with others, generally being good enough to express anything you might want to say, and having a good laugh, and also just generally being conversationally fluent, that definitely isn't as hard, or definitely doesn't take as long, so long as you know what you're doing. So before going into what works, let's talk about what doesn't work. Usually there's two main culprits. One, not using the right resources, and two, not being consistent. What are you doing? So no, that means 2 months of only using Duolingo whenever you go on the toilet. That's not gonna help. Speaking to natives can work from the start, however, lessons often will be unstructured because, let's face it, in the beginning there's so much to learn. One day you can be talking about French fries, next day you're talking about dating, and nothing ever really sticks. Not to mention the fact that you probably are paying a lot of money, more than you should be, for people to teach you what you can just teach yourself, the basics. 狗，意思是 dog，给我10块。Now, consistency is key in learning any new language or any new skill, really. I mean, think about it. Plants don't grow only one time a week. They grow every single day. And maybe sometimes they're a bit lazy, so not every single day, but at least most days of the week. Now then, let's go into what actually works. This is the method that I use. It's called the FME method. FME basically stands for Fluency Made Easy, which is the title of my book, which is where the method comes from. And there are 3 stages to this method. The first stage is input, the second stage is output, and the third stage is refinement. That refinement stage, we're not going to be worrying about that right now. That is for people who want to get past conversational fluency and want to get really, really advanced, and it takes a long time. We're only going to be talking about the first 2 of the stages. So let me explain what it is. Alright, so how do babies learn? How do children learn? Do they learn by getting graded on grammar tests and hating themselves? No, they learn by listening and listening and listening. Even for the first 2-3 years, all it is listening, right? I mean, especially if you've ever been put around a 2-year-old recently, all they're doing is listening to Let It Go and watching Frozen on repeat. I just feel bad for the parents. I just feel bad for the parents. But that said, they listen so much, and then eventually after listening a lot, start to understand the language a little bit. They start speaking, and then mama corrects them. Then they speak more, then daddy corrects them. Then they keep speaking more, and eventually they don't even really get corrected anymore. Well, sometimes in school, but for me, that's what's worked. That is the best way to learn a language, because what you need to do is you need to learn in a way that's almost effortless. For me, my method is really structured about it being fun, which is why during the input stage, which should last anywhere between 3 to 6 months, depending on what language you're studying, obviously, it depends on the difficulty, like I said. So in the input stage, what I recommend from the get-go is to watch TV shows with subtitles and also look for some cool YouTube channels in the language that you're trying to learn. Now, obviously in the beginning you want to use subtitles, but once you start being able to understand like a good amount of what you're listening to without them, then you want to drop them, but we'll talk about that later. So in the input stage, there are three main resources. There's Pimsleur, there's Assimil, and there's Glossika. These are all different language learning programs. I highly recommend everyone that's watching this, if you're contemplating starting a language, at least the first thing you do, go get Pimsleur, because Pimsleur is the beginner program. It's very fun. It's like, basically at the beginning they talk and talk and talk and talk, and you don't understand anything, and by the end of the lesson, you understand everything they talked about, and there's 30 lessons per level, etc., etc. I've used it with every single language that I speak. I've taught myself 5, so trust me on that one. Pimsleur leads to Assimil. Assimil is like, it takes you from upper beginner to intermediate. This will take you through the bulk of the language. After finishing Assimil, you're pretty much going to have a very good grasp on the language, and basically what it is, it's like a half textbook, half it's like a textbook that comes with audio CDs too, or audio files, and it is good, and it's also quite interesting and not too grammar heavy. But you do actually learn the grammar through practice and just kind of gradually absorbing it, as opposed to like going in a grammar book and, you know. So generally, how do you know when you've reached the output stage? That is around the time, if you've been watching your TV shows, when you're starting to feel the language click a bit, and you're like, okay, I understand maybe not all of it, but maybe 50% of the words I'm starting to hear, 60% of the words I'm starting to hear. And that's around the time when you want to start venturing away from subtitles and venturing to a tutor. Usually I use the website italki. That's my one resource for the output stage. And what you want to do is probably every other day, I would say, or every day if you can afford it, just talk to a native speaker whose sole goal is to improve your language, right? The language you're trying to learn. That helps so much. I guarantee you, 3, 4, 5 months, maybe even 2, really depends on how fast you learn, that language is yours. It's yours. It's yours. And real quick, why it works is because Pimsleur is a beginner program that kind of leads you to upper beginner. From there, Assimil takes over and gets you to that intermediate stage. And that last program I talked about is called Glossika, and it's optional. You can use it if you want. Basically, it just throws a bunch of sentences at you, and it helps you kind of assimilate the language and get used to sentence structures. And it's a pretty cool program to check out too, if you feel like you're not really ready to take the step to start talking to tutors. And that's basically that's in a nutshell how I'm able to learn languages fairly quickly, and I hope this video helped you. If this video did help you, and if you found the information in this video eye-opening, I sincerely recommend you to check out the book I wrote, Fluency Made Easy. I poured my heart into that book. It's 80 pages, and it's all concise. It's all eye-opening information that's going to get you through the language and get you to where you want to go. I heavily recommend it because it expands more on the method I just talked about, but also it just kind of goes into debunking myths and kind of getting you in the right mentality of what you should expect and what you can expect. So definitely go check it out, fluencymadeeasy.com. But that's been the video, guys. Next video for the tribe. Wait. Is gonna be probably a reaction video. So, how do you like them apples? Thank you guys for watching so much, and 再见. Bye bye.